Right before the break, I said, what do you suppose Trump has planned for Saturday Night Live? This guy is insane to begin with, but um, if you remember Saturday Night Live's cold open last week, the takeoff on "It's a Wonderful Trump," it's a parody of "It's a Wonderful Life," uh, and Trump took to Twitter to criticize the show and NBC for what he called one-sided coverage. Hey, asshole, it's a fucking parody. It's a never mind. One-sided coverage and defamation. Um, if you didn't see, it was riffed on the 1946 Christmas classic, "It's a Wonderful Life," and it envisioned a parallel universe in which Hillary Clinton had visited Wisconsin just once during the election, and as a result, Donald Trump never won the presidency. Oh, does that get him, doesn't it, huh? Now, in response to a skit on Saturday Night Live, if you have any doubts as to the mental instability of this son of a bitch, A, and B, his serious propensity and now drift into becoming a dictator, consider that Trump questioned whether such a skit was legal. Legal. And in an early morning tweet, he said that Saturday Night Live was a mere, quote, Democrat spin machine that should be, quote, tested in court. Now, the one bad mark against Saturday Night Live is that he had previously appeared on the show a number of years ago as a host, one of the hosts. But now he's making it clear he isn't laughing about the most hysterical, worthless, fucked up administration in the history of America. Oh, yeah, yeah, because he heads it. Now he wants to take Saturday Night Live to court. Unfortunately for Trump's fragile little baby ego, satire and political commentary, in case nobody has read the First Amendment to him, and I doubt that they have, they're both explicitly protected under the First Amendment. It's called, you dumb fuck, freedom of speech. Defamation. And besides, the Supreme Court decided on the issue of parody versus defamation years ago in 1988. I don't know if you remember. I certainly do. Larry Flint's Hustler magazine published a cartoon showing Jerry Falwell as an immoral drunk having anal sex with his mother. Yeah, that Jerry Falwell. The court found that because Falwell was a public figure and the parody could not have been believed by a reasonable person, that's the catch here. Trump is not a reasonable person. But because of that, the Supreme Court ruled that Falwell's emotional distress was not a valid reason to deny Hustler magazine its right to free speech. Jerry Falwell. I'll never forget that. Somebody showed me that cartoon, and I mean, I was very familiar with Hustler back in the day, but when somebody showed me that cartoon, I just about lost it. I thought it was the funniest goddamn thing. Not funny, haha, but funny in that, okay, you right wing Christian fascists, not fuck you. Here, try this on for size. Of course, it didn't work all that well, did it? Because look what the Christian right has morphed into in this country. Trump, see, something I realized today And I don't know if I realized it on my own or if it comes as a result of following this creepy son of a bitch for almost 2 years now. I'm not sure. Or if somebody else said it. But in the civilian world, for years and years and years, Trump ran a criminal enterprise. That's all it was, a criminal enterprise. Everything that he did had and his three adult children had an aspect of a mafia family operation. Um, Everybody he associated with. Now, the real mafia wouldn't have anything to do with him for a number of reasons. First of all, he is not Sicilian. He couldn't trace his bloodline back the way it has to be traced back. Secondly, he was a loudmouth and a braggart and a fuckhead and a jerk off and always wanted the camera, always wanted the attention. That's not how the mafia works. The mafia once, or did, it's pretty much dead now, they wanted anonymity. And I know about this a little bit because of my grandfather. No, he was. But I used to ask him questions since he immigrated here from Italy. I used to ask him all sorts of questions. He said, first of all, I'm not Sicilian. He said, I'm from northern Italy. But it didn't matter. You know, Grandpa, if you're Italian, then you know about the mafia. Now, he died when I was 22, I think. So the questions I asked him as a teenager were rather naive. But he did explain a few things to me, like omertà, the vow of silence, which Trump couldn't even get near that. First of all, he couldn't pronounce it. But my grandfather explained to me that that was one of the keys to these terrible, terrible people, the mafioso, was you never, ever, ever broke your vow. You took a vow of silence where it concerned the workings of the mafia, the hierarchy of the mafia, the various families, how they interconnected, yada, yada, yada. So for all those reasons, Trump would no more be a mafioso than he would be a pope. It's just not going to happen. But Trump modeled his octopus-like organization, his crime family, after a legitimate, no pun intended, mafia crime family. When he became president, all he did was lift the way he ran his crime family and placed it in a position of government. He is running the country the same way that he ran his crime family. He lies, he cheats, he steals, he stiff arms people, he breaks promises, he does nothing that's positive, not one single fucking thing, except to give the yahoos who follow him some kind of a perverted sexual rush. The men who follow this monster want to be him because they're sick in the fucking head. They want to be able to abuse women the way Trump does. They want to be able to tell the world to fuck off the way Trump does. And the working class stiffs who support Trump will never, ever, ever be Trump. It's like when I was a kid. I used to go to the Saturday night Western movies at our neighborhood theater. And when the double feature was over, two cowboy movies, and I came out, I didn't give a shit if I lived or died, if I could just be one of those cowboys on the screen. That's all I wanted to be. I want to be a cowboy. And I'd look around at my neighborhood and in the middle of Toledo, Ohio, and go, what? Yeah, what? Trump wanted to be a mafia. So he took the second best thing. Most people outgrow that shit, but not Trump. He still wants to be mafia. So everything he does, the way he operates, I don't read. Well, I need to read. Fuck it. You want me to know something? Bring me a picture. Keep it simple, all right? I got no time for this shit, right? Everything he touches, Everything he breaks or destroys or corrupts. Every body he touches, he corrupts.
Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. As you know, we've switched formats and are now broadcast exclusively on the Progressive Voices Network. So that means you get fewer program interruptions, no corporate commercials, and lots of profanity. But our format change also means some of our radio listeners no longer hear the program. It's been a while since I mentioned our podcasts, so you may have forgotten that there is a way to listen to this program anytime you need a good dose of screaming. Visit MikeMalloy.com and subscribe to our podcast. You have your choice. You can listen to the ranting with the audio podcast or listen and watch me lose control with a video podcast subscription. As a podcast subscriber, you can download the program to your mobile device and take me with you wherever you go. And if you have a friend who needs a dose of truth-seeking, you can give a gift subscription as well. That's MikeMalloy.com, and never miss a minute of the uncensored fun and frivolity.